It is absolutely impossible to deny how frequently used cell phones are. They can be used in the workplace, at home, at school, and pretty much anywhere that has decent reception. With so many interactive apps like TikTok and Instagram, it is surprisingly easy to gain an addiction. This addiction can interfere with school work by shortening attention spans and curbing work productivity, leading to a drop in grades and work ethic. This can cause schools to place a complete ban on cell phones. Sounds absolutely horrid, right? But phones are not the complete danger that all adults like to say while they scroll through Facebook. In fact, phones should not be completely banned because complete shutdowns will only have temporary effects, access to online resources will be severely restricted, and because teachers should have the final say about phones instead of the entire school itself. Completely wiping out phones will not automatically improve grades and increase student engagement and participation. It will only be a short amount of time before the relapse occurs and the students will begin to tank. It is similar to quitting tobacco. Going cold turkey right off the bat will have more negative effects than good. John Intopa, the Student Government Association president of the Massachusetts College of Art and Design, says this plan could lead to some short-term improvement in grades, but it doesn't help students learn how to use technology in healthy ways. Banning phones is only a momentary solution to the bigger problem of proper technology usage. Like how slapping a band-aid on a stab wound is not going to fix the issue, placing a total stop on phones is not going to solve the root cause. Mara Alper, who studies the technology usage of children and families as a professor of communication studies at Northeastern University, states in the article, complete cell phone bans in schools alone won't curb distraction, says Alper suggests bans by themselves won't necessarily lead to more engaged learning unless accompanied by measures to educate students on their technology use. Teaching students how to use technology more appropriately in class is a much better solution than removing them outright. It can definitely lead to more positive outcomes, improved engagement, and higher grades. Another reason against a total ban is because the access to online resources will be significantly restricted. A lot of classes utilize research projects, so limiting the way students can gain their information is very counterproductive and makes no sense. Intopa says cell phones offer a huge opportunity in education. In high school, students often use phones to help them do research at the library or in class. Apps can make learning fun and help students remember lessons. Cell phone ban can also restrict how students record information, since not everyone writes down notes. Some students use phones to take pictures of notes, to record notes, to record voice memos containing information, to share notes to other students who were not present during class. In the article, cell phone bans in school won't curb distraction, says communication technologies expert. Stenning states, but Alper also points out that blanket bans run the risk of depriving students of tools that may be necessary to their learning. Accessibility is an issue not generally considered during such bans, Alper says. Some students appreciate being able to use personal devices with cameras to capture notes, particularly if students do not make their visual materials available to students in other ways. I, for one, always upload my slides to Canvas after class for these reasons. Phones help students get to resources faster. With phones being easy to use anywhere, students can access important files anywhere at any time, giving more opportunities to complete assignments and study their materials. Finally, teachers should have final say about cell phone usage in class. Anna Lamb, a staff writer at Harvard for the Harvard Gazette, states in the article, "Do phones belong in school?" But some Harvard experts say instructors and administrators should consider learning how to teach with tech instead of against it, in part because so many students are still coping with academic and social disruptions caused by the pandemic. At home, many young people were free to choose how and when to use their cell phones during learning hours. Now, they face a school environment seeking to take away their main source of connection. And Intopa also states, "When I was in high school, we didn't have to lock up our phones. Instead, the teachers hung a large piece of cloth with pockets on the back of the classroom door. Students put their phones in the pockets when class began. We could get them if we needed our phone to work on the day's lesson and at the end of class. I think keeping cell phones available but not a distraction is a better solution. Teachers properly utilizing technology in their classrooms is a much better solution than shutting them down entirely. It teaches students important lessons such as responsibility, time management, independence, and it creates a healthy bond of trust between the teacher and student. Creating proper guidelines to how phones should be used in the classroom will promote better engagement from students since they will know what is and what is not allowed. Despite these obvious benefits, some teachers still believe that phones should not be allowed in the classroom. Lamb states, Michael Rich, an associate professor of pediatrics at Harvard Medical School and an associate professor of social and behavioral sciences at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, says that phones in school don't mix. Students can't meaningfully absorb information while also texting, scrolling, or watching YouTube videos. The human brain is incapable of thinking more than one thing at a time, he said, and so what we think of as multitasking is actually rapid switch tasking. And the problem with that is that switch tasking may cover a lot of ground in terms of different subjects, but it doesn't go deeply into any of them. While this may be true, it still does not mean that phones should be completely banned. A way to work around this issue is by only letting phones be used at certain times, like during research projects, class participation activities, and not letting them being used during actual lessons. Placing such concrete limitations keeps both students and teachers in check by having them learn how to properly utilize personal technology in a classroom setting. Although some teachers may outright ban phones in their classrooms, and that is also okay. These decisions about how their classrooms should be run ultimately falls on them. Teachers should have the final say about whether or not phones should be allowed in the class. So do not ultimately blame the obsession with phones and decide they should be outright gone. Instead, learn to work with them and witness how they can benefit the school for the better.